Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today, I felt it was important to talk about somewhat very important and breaking news, although, it's not exactly the second, but it is somewhat breaking, and that is that the New York's highest court, the New York Supreme Court, on Wednesday, and I'll just read, pretty much word for it here, rejected new congressional maps that had widely been seen as favoring Democrats, agreeing with Republican voters who argued the district boundaries were unconstitutionally gerrymandered. This was a 4-3 decision that the Supreme Court voted essentially to prevent the Democrats' gerrymander attempt from going through. I mean, this is a gerrymander attempt. This is what happens across the country. This happened in New York and Illinois are probably the two most gerrymandered states in the entire country. This was obvious gerrymandering. Although many people assumed that since the New York's highest court has a majority of Democrats appointed on it, given that it is, New York. They haven't had many Republican governors recently. They assumed that this would be gone through because usually Democrats and people of the same party tend to be loyal to one another. However, we are seeing this getting knocked down, that it is unconstitutional. The judge has also said lawmakers gerrymandered in the congressional Democrats' favor in violation of a 2014 constitutional amendment designed to rout out political gamesmanship in redistricting. The appeals court handed authority to draw new district maps to a special court master. So I want to go down now to this paragraph over here that kind of explains what this map was doing. So New York is set to lose one seat in Congress in 2021. So, prepare for what I'm going to explain up that, help advise this. The maps devised by the legislature would have given Democrats a strong majority of registered voters in 22 of the state's 26 congressional districts. Right now, Republicans hold 8 of the state's 27 congressional districts. So just look at that. 22 out of the 26 congressional districts in the state would have been controlled by Democrats. Now, I know that Republicans don't make up 5% of the state. However, that is really what based off of those maps, it looks not exactly 5, it's about 15%. Republicans would have a shot at seats. Republicans don't make up 15% of the states, so proportionally that doesn't make sense. Currently, where they hold 8 of the state's 27 seats, so they would be losing essentially 4 seats in one state. And the Supreme Court knocked this down. Many, political pundits, many YouTubers, probably most notably, Let's Talk Elections. He made a video not too long ago saying that that this map was here to stay. It clearly was not. I thought he spoke too soon. I didn't really speak to this, and I wasn't really speaking to many gerrymandering attempts across the country because, I just didn't find it as the most interesting of content. However, I do think that this is interesting because this is showing that Republicans have a significant amount of momentum heading into the 2022 midterm elections. They've been having victory in the courts consistently. We've seen this happen consistently, not just in the courts, but also politically. You go back to after 2020 election, a lot of Donald Trump's allegations were thrown out of court. He didn't have that, support there. But it does look like Republicans are doing well, and this is just one of many major Republican victories that are just helping push that red wave that I believe is going to happen in 2022. I think a lot of political, YouTubers know this now, but we see Republican victory after Republican victory again and again and again. I think that Elon Musk's it does seem like he will be able to acquire Twitter eventually as this process continues, is a victory for Republicans, certainly. There has already been significant evidence that Republicans have had a greater influence on Twitter and gained more followers since, the deal began and since the deal was agreed upon. We saw a Republican victory after Ron DeSantis barred Disney of its, special status in having its own district. Oklahoma taking aim at abortion. You can see it happening here. The abortion bans across the country, preparing for the Dobbs case this summer to overturn abortion. That could also actually help increase in Republicans' favor. I talked about that in a previous video as well. So what we're seeing is just such a momentum right now that the Republicans are gaining. And I just don't think the Democrats can stop it. I think that the Democrats are going to have to moderate on this map. I don't think they're going to start giving Republicans any more than what the Republicans had before, which was 8 or 7 7 congressional districts. But, instead of 22 state districts, the Democrats might get 18, or the Democrats might get 19 or 17. But they're going to have to moderate. This is something that the Republicans, can take the W on this one because, the Democrats really lost this battle. And New York, overruled this. At the moment, even in New York politics, you see Lee Zeldin actually, I wouldn't say has, I would say that he's making New York more competitive as a governor race than we've ever seen really in a long time. And of course, I'm not saying that he's probably going to win. I don't think he's going to win, but he's making it a competitive race. So, it's looking like the momentum is shifting. Eric Adams, one of the more moderate primary candidates, winning there in the mayor race. So anyway, that's really all I have for you. Let me know how you think this is going to work out in the end for the Democrats. What seat amount do you think they'll end up with in the Republicans? How do you think this will affect the midterms? Right now, I am really just trying to compare everything to the midterms, all of these victories across the country. Democrats got many, many victories leading up to Trump's defeat in 2020. They got many victories. They had, in some sense, a high ground on COVID. They had the majority of Americans' approval on COVID. They had, they had many on social issues. So at the moment, Republicans are now retaking that ground, and it does look like they will almost certainly get the House and have an incredibly, incredibly high chance of getting the Senate. I would give them probably an 85% chance of taking back the Senate at this point. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching the video. Please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I appreciate everyone who subscribes. We're getting really close to 550 subscribers. And yeah, like the video, comment below, and stay tuned for more. Have a great day.